Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, my name is Stina. I'm a brand and headshot photographer in Australia. I want to talk about 3 lighting techniques that I use today to get beautiful light on location. I've had this question from a few viewers and they're all saying there's nothing about lighting for personal brand photographers out there. Can you please make a video? So this is the video for you, okay? We're going to talk a little bit about on-camera flash, we're going to talk about off-camera flash and how we use those to create beautiful, natural looking light just like these photos. The first technique, and probably my favorite, is something that I learned a very long time ago, and that is just bouncing the flash into walls, ceilings, or corners and ceilings, corners of walls and ceilings. Yes, it makes a difference. And it's a technique that I learned when I was doing a lot of weddings and a lot of events, photography, christenings, birthday parties. And someone showed it to me one day and it was just like a revelation. It's like, wow, are you serious? I can do this without anything else, just on camera flash. I thought, at that point, I still thought that having your flash on your camera was a bad thing. It's not. You can still get amazing results. So it's how I shoot most of my branding work. So all the sessions you see on my website and on my socials, a lot of them you can't even tell that I use flash, and that's the whole point. I want it to look really natural. So the first thing you want to do with this is just pop it on top of the camera, and then you want to angle it. I'm just going to put the microphone down for this. Hello, this is future editing Stina. I am so sorry. At this point, I completely forgot that I left the microphone on the table next to me. So the audio is not the best, but hang in there. I pick it back up. And then you want to angle it. So it doesn't matter what flash it is. A round head is not better than a square head. Honestly, the results are not, you can't really tell the difference. I don't know why they even bother, to be honest, but maybe it's because if you point it directly at someone, I don't know, but basically you put it onto your camera. Maybe I'll just put it onto my camera so I can show you, okay? Alright, so you have your camera and you obviously slide that on there, like so. And then I just position it like this. You can also do at an angle, which is kind of what I prefer. And what that does, because light travels in straight directions and straight lines, there's no like waves or anything, I like to have the light coming at an angle rather than straight onto my subject. So this is how I would shoot any clients inside in smaller areas. If it's a really large area, then that's when I would probably put on a modifier up here and I'll just angle it straight up. And what that does, it just gives a better light spread when you have, it's like something like a mag mod on there. I don't have one, I just have the little dome that came with this, which I can get out in a minute. And all it does is just, instead of the lights shooting straight up into the ceiling and making it really like singular, directional, you're just spreading out the light source, basically. So you get a better spread of light, I think is what I'm trying to say, and that just creates a much softer look. Generally, this is a really good place to start. And if you haven't tried it before, try it. Just try it at home. You don't have to shoot, you don't have to photograph a person. You can just photograph a room and just see what happens. Smaller rooms are great because when you bounce the flash up in the wall or the ceiling or in a corner, it just kind of acts like a softbox. So the bigger the place is, the more you have to find surfaces to directly bounce it off. If you're in like, a church or something like that, hopefully not for brand clients, but if you do a wedding, and if you're in a church, you can't just bounce your flash. It's not powerful enough, and a lot of churches you can't even use a flash. So, but say you're in a big house and they have like 20-foot ceilings, then what are you going to do? This is when you put the magma on as well. So, and just that will help you. So I'm going to put my settings here somewhere, but the key to this is is not the precise settings. It's allowing enough ambient light into your camera, so you can just add the flash to give a little bit of extra contrast, extra color, and just make it look really nice and sharp, crisp and natural at the same time. We never want the flash to overpower whatever natural light there is. If you're lucky, there is a lot. But I've shot in clients' houses where whole rooms were pitch dark, and I actively avoided those areas, but the rest of the home weren't either. I'll put some of those photos up here for you as well, so you can just see what I was having to deal with. So I'm quite happy with the results. I think we did great. It was a really fun session, but yeah, not every house is going to be this beautiful Mediterranean, perfectly styled Airbnb or holiday rental. And not every client has the budget to hire locations that look like that. And to be honest, a lot of the photos online that you see for locations like that, they are enhanced by Photoshop and lighting. So you might get somewhere and think it was going to be absolutely beautifully lit, but it's not. So this is where knowing how to shoot with your gear really is going to be helpful. So I just wanted to show you the little Godox dome that comes with this little handy kit. It's got all sorts of different things. And this is the dome, and it just looks like this. This is a snoot that comes with it, which is really cute too, but we're not going to use that right now. It's just a little dome, and that basically just clips right on top here. It's magnetic, so I don't have to screw it in or anything. And that's all I use. It's really good. So it's kind of funny that all my event and wedding work has come in handy, because I just know how to do this setup like the back of my hand. I don't even have to think about it anymore. The next option would be to take the flash off your camera and just simply put it on a stand. I have another video of how to put that together, and I'll link it somewhere here or in the description, so if you have any questions about that. But basically, when you take it off your camera, you are getting a bit more flexibility in terms of where you can put your flash, obviously, but you have to really watch the direction of light, because if you're still bouncing it, which normally we would just do because we don't want to be carrying a million things around, if you're still bouncing it, you need to make sure that where you're bouncing it is going to work with where your client is. I've shot in houses where there was a million different angles in the ceiling. It was just like a house that was kind of built little bit by little bit, not all in one, and that just created all these weird angles in the house, in the ceiling. And the light was just a little bit of a nightmare, because it wasn't like one direction light. It was coming from doing weird stuff. I think that was the only time I struggled a bit to get the look I wanted, because I was like, what is going on? This is just not working the way it usually does. And so if you have a house or a ceiling or a location with a weird ceiling with lots of different angles, be careful, because it can really screw up your shoot. And you can add a modifier to it if you want to carry that stuff around, no problem. And it can give you, the results will look okay, but I'm not a fan of it, and only because when you limit yourself to having just that small source of light, which it will be unless you carry a Monster umbrella with you, your photos will start looking like studio shots kind of thing. So that's just my experience. I'm not saying that this is the same for everyone, but we all have our different ways of working, and some prefer completely different things to me. Some people use LED lights, which I don't. I have one, and that's the one I use for my video, but to me they're not strong enough to create the light I want. But I also have a very weak one. It's only 60 watts. So, but yeah, I know branding photographers who use LED lights all the time. And the good thing about it is because they're constant lights, so you can see exactly what you're going to get. And I do see the advantage in that, it makes it a lot easier, especially if you're not comfortable with flash. There's Kelsey Curtis in, where does she live? She lives in the US, and she just uses 2 LED lights. I'll put some photos up so I can see what they are like. 2 LED lights in the big domes, like I have one of those too. And she has usually 2 of them on her shoots. She just puts them like around her client, and because she does a lot of video as well, then that just works brilliantly for her. And she's, built a whole business up just using that setup, and I think it's brilliant. It's all about finding a setup that you love working with, that works for you, gives you the results you want, and just you don't have to complicate things by introducing new setups or new gear. Just stay there. It's totally okay, totally okay. So I thought it would be a good idea just to show you a few of my past sessions, and I can sort of talk a little bit about the lighting and how I achieved what I achieved. Because every place is so different. So this first one was in that house with the weird ceilings in the living area, and it just caused me a lot of grief. I think I used a combination, I used a combination of off-camera and on-camera flash. I did off-camera for some of the product shots that I shot for her, my client Karen, and then I did on-camera flash for all the portraits sort of work. So there was a tiny bit of natural light, but it was quite there was not a lot of open windows to let the sun in. And because in Australia, the sun is like really high in the sky, especially during the summer. So it's a weird scenario because you don't get a lot of sunlight into a lot of houses. So although we're a very bright sunny country, the sun is so high in the sky, and a lot of the houses have like awnings out, so you don't actually get a lot of sun inside. It's the strangest scenario. You wouldn't think so. Yes, we do have to use flash indoors, even during the day. So this is where I used both things, both on and off camera flash. The next shoot we did, this is with Emma. She's also a photographer, and this was in a little cottage that we hired, and it was really cute. But again, not a lot of natural light, so I had to use my on-camera flash to just balance out the light. Again, it worked really well. I did try to just shoot it with natural light, but it wasn't quite getting there, not really getting that light and bright look that I quite like. So on-camera flash, and as you can see here in these videos, we did a bit of, I did like a promo reel while I was there for some mini sessions I was going to do at this place. So it was a very small place, so at least the flash worked really well because there was lots of surfaces for it to bounce off. So get a really nice natural look for this. This last session here was with Manja, and we shot that at her house. And this is the house that I talked about before that was, a part of it was pitch black. There's no sun coming into that home. So we had to kind of do the entire shoot in her living area, which is up against her backyard, or courtyard I guess it is, and also outside. And we decided on doing that because there was just not enough natural light inside at all. And yes, I could, just use the flash, but I like to, whenever I can, to balance ambient light with the flash, just because it gives a nice natural look. If I had to light up an entire room from pitch black to get the look I wanted, I'd have to fire my flash with full power. And then it would look like a really bad studio shoot, and I just not into that. And I don't think she would have liked the photos either. So as you can see in this photo, she's standing in the doorway, and it's a cute pose and everything, but I actually had to move all her furniture around because the way it was laid out, the couch was blocking the windows, and I really wanted to shoot just in those couple of square meters within the folding doors there. As you can see, it's really, really dark on the inside, right? You look through that door she's standing in, and it is pitch black. That's because it was pitch black in there. So we also did some sitting on the couch, sort of clients and patient scenarios, and that's actually my makeup artist that did her hair and makeup for that session. Yeah, again, it was quite a hard place to shoot. So what I did there, I did take my flash off my camera and put it on a stand and bounced it into the ceilings. And I kept moving it around until I got the look I wanted. So again, light travels in straight lines, and if your surfaces are not, if the place is not big enough to move your flash far enough away from the walls or the ceilings, you're going to get very hard light. So this is a small place as well. So yeah, we live and learn, and every scenario is slightly different. If you're a photographer who gets to shoot in beautiful big mansions with white walls and beautiful natural light, you are lucky, because that is not the reality for a lot of us. So you just consider yourself lucky and just enjoy your beautiful naturally lit photos. Yeah. Okay, so I hope this video has helped a bit. If you have any questions, you know what to do. I'm also here for a chat if you want to go through anything, and if you need a little bit of help with your photography business or your lighting or anything else, please let me know. I'll be happy to go on a Zoom call with you and discuss further. You can hire me on the link below. If you want to know more about photography and photography business, watch this next video.